example. So in AdWords, this would be like display advertising, right? So say you're on Edmunds.com, for example, and then you'll see a banner ad on the side of the page. And it's kind of like a billboard on the side of the road. So people can click on the ad and go through to your website and shop around. So that's push advertising. Again, you're seeking people out. Pull advertising takes just the opposite approach. So here you want customers to come to you, hence the idea that you're pulling them in. So a perfect example of this is just regular search. So you can see here, someone goes into a search engine and they type in 2007 Jeep Wrangler, and then your ad pops up. So just know that AdWords search is a great platform to use to ensure that you're there whenever people are searching out products that you have, and that's pull advertising. Technical difficulties. So this is more of like a visual to complement what I just spoke about. So we have search advertising as one vertical in AdWords. And again, that's the pull side of things. And then on the push side, we have display. Underneath display, I've listed out some of the targets, which we'll get into in just a little bit. And then bouncing off of display are the different types of ad formats that are supported. So first we have text ads, which are also available in search. Search runs through text ads, but they can also be used in display, which is what a lot of people don't know. So an example, say you're like on YouTube, and then at the bottom of the screen, a little text ad will pop up, a little advertisement. That's technically display advertising because the person isn't seeking you out. Again, it's being pushed onto you. So those are text ads. And then next there's banner ads, which is what I showed you in the example on the previous slide. So these are like the graphics, right? So you're on a website and then you'll see banner ads along the side of the web page. And then finally, there's pre-roll, which this is run through YouTube. So these are the video ads that play before someone watches a YouTube clip. And again, that's a form of display advertising. So now I'll just go into search a little bit more. So how Google decides which ads to show when someone is in a search engine is heavily determined by the keywords that we choose to target in AdWords. So depending on what your advertising goals are, you usually want to go after keywords that hit people at different points of the buying cycle. And this is done by targeting both long tail and short tail keywords. So if you look here at the bottom of our little buying funnel that we have, you can see at the very bottom, this is more of a long tail keyword. It's very specific. It's 2014 Black Ford Explorer. These are the people that already know what they want. They're getting really close to a point of purchase. They're just trying to find what they're looking for. So that's a long tail keyword. In comparison, if you bump up a few levels, you'll see Ford dealer. This is more of a short tail keyword. Again, it's still really relevant traffic. It's just a bit less specific. Thing I would note about this is there's a lot of searches that go on before you get to the Ford dealer. So people might start out searching for new SUVs, SUV incentives, and then start looking at reviews. So to kind of make sure that your ad dollars are going to the most qualified people, I would make sure that you're showing up when people decide to start going after Ford or whatever your manufacturer is. So Ford dealer all the way down to the really detailed 2014 long tail keywords that have year, make, and model. So now we'll move right into display. I like to think of display as kind of like a billboard on the side of the road, right? It's really great for branding. Clicks are a lot less expensive in comparison to search. But what it offers that billboard advertising doesn't is the ability to target people in a really intelligent way. So you can see all the targets that display has to offer here. We have two larger umbrella terms. We have contextual, and then we have audience. And then its own little subcategory, we have placements. So in contextual targeting, you place ads on web pages whose content relates to your product. So the ads are contextually relevant to the content that's on the web page. This allows you to engage with people at the moment that they are consuming content that's relating to your product. Audience, on the other hand, is more of a behavioral target. So this is where you display your ad to people who have previously shown some sort of interest in your product. Just keep in mind with audience targeting, you don't necessarily have to be viewing content related to your product, but you probably have been at some point previously, which is why you're still a good person to serve an ad to. So we'll bump back over to contextual targeting. There's two main types. There's topics, and then we have keywords. So with topics, you serve your ads on websites that relate to a topic you select. So for example, say you're like a Toyota dealer, you would probably select the Toyota topic, and then Google would serve your ad on websites that are about Toyota or relating to Toyota. Keywords is really similar to topics, except the difference is that you don't select a topic. We go in and we manually enter in a list of keywords, and then Google takes that list of keywords, they analyze it, and then they try to find relevant web pages to serve your ad on. And then the keywords, again, would be relating to the ad or the product that we're advertising. If you go over to audience, we have in market, and this is one of my favorites, one of the ones I think is the coolest. It's basically targeting exactly what it sounds like, in market shoppers. So these are the people who are actively looking at reviews all the time. They're looking at comparisons. Maybe they're comparing prices, checking bank records. They've shown some sort of intent to purchase your product, and that's in market. We also have interest or affinity. And this is pretty similar to in-market, except I would say it lacks more of like the intent to purchase. It's more kind of like fan base or personality type. So this works well more for non-auto, I would say. So say you're like a wing house and you want to go after sports fans, that's when you'd want to use interest or affinity. Then we have demographic, which is pretty self-explanatory, but this goes, you can target gender, you can target by age. Say you have a really strong Hispanic population, you can write ads that are in Spanish and then serve them to Spanish speakers. So that might be a case where you'd want to take advantage of demographics targeting. Remarketing we'll get to in just a second. And then finally, we have placements. And on placements, you hand select websites on the Google Display Network where you want your ad to show. So you could pick like Edmunds.com or AutoTrader, Cars.com, Car Gurus. There's a lot of really good options for placements.
Okay, Buffy, let me interject real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm noticing, I'm looking at all these things, the remarketing and marketing, under both contextual and audience, but how is a dealer supposed to know which one to use? Like, do you pick and choose targets? Are there ones that you should hit that make more sense? Should you hit all of them? Like, how do you choose?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You want to test out different combinations of things. So here we like to use advanced targeting, or that means we basically layer these things on top of each other to get the most segmented, most qualified traffic that you can. So for example, say you choose a placements target on Edmunds.com. You could also layer in topics. So you could layer in Chevrolet. So your ad shows on the Chevrolet pages of Edmunds, if that makes sense. And you can do that really with any of these, as long as it makes sense, like targeting in market for Ford, but layering keywords so that it shows on a website talking about Ford.
All right, yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
All right, excellent.
So we'll move right into remarketing, which this is a really popular thing. I'm sure a lot of you know what this is, but this is basically when someone is on your website, the visitor leaves, and then you follow them around as they go to different websites with your ad. And the idea is to try to get them to come back to your website. You can actually be pretty specific with who you choose to remarket to. So you can remarket by very specific lists. So for example, say someone is interested in your service department and they're on the service page of your website. And they don't like schedule an appointment or they don't fill out a form. Once they leave, you can hit them with an offer about service and to bring them back. So you can choose to remarket just to people who have been on the service page of your website.
Okay.
And to get that set up, there's really no extra work on your guys' end. Basically, we just provide a small snippet of code and it gets added to every page of your website. If you're a dealer inspired client, we can obviously add it ourselves. If not, just send it off to your current website provider. But to get the really specific remarketing list, just know there's no extra work on your end. We do it ourselves through AdWords. So we're not going to send you a bunch of code or anything, just the one remarketing code.
So this remarketing, that's the kind of thing that you also see on like Facebook. Like if you've been looking at one thing and then all of a sudden you go into Facebook and like, oh, there's the shoes I was looking at. How do you know?
They get you. Yeah, Facebook has it too.
Yeah, bought those shoes.
Exactly, it works. So now we'll move in a little bit away from targets into features that AdWords has. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the bid adjustment tool. So just so you guys know, geo-targeting is the boundaries you set up that the online advertising has to take place in. So you can do it by zip code, region, city, radius, a lot of things. And what bid adjustment allows you to do is go within the geo-target and you can bid more competitively in certain areas. So say you're a dealer that's really wanting to dominate your backyard. We can go in and say bid 20% more in the backyard, but then you can also maintain a presence in the surrounding areas. So bid adjustment is a great tool for that. So you not only have to do it by location, you can also do it by device, for example. So we could bid more aggressively on like a mobile platform because there's typically less space for ads, and then also by time of day.
And does that work if somebody's like traveling as well? Like, if they're on their mobile device in, let's say, South Carolina, but they live in Florida and they're looking for a car?
Yeah, exactly. So say I'll like use an example. Say I'm here in Naperville and I work in Chicago, which I don't, but let's say I do. So I work in Chicago and I fall close enough. I fall outside of a Naperville geo target. What we do on our end in AdWords is we'll ask you for a list of your target cities. So we'll keyword in city names in association with your dealership. So I'll pick on Chevrolet, like Chevrolet of Naperville. So if I'm in Chicago and I'm looking for Chevrolets and I say Chevrolet near Naperville, our ad should still technically be triggered because of the location keyword targeting.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next feature I'm going to get into is fuel, which our director of paid search, Mark Damon, he gave a really great webinar on fuel a couple weeks ago. It went really in depth. So if you have questions about fuel, I highly suggest you check that out. I'm just going to give you the quick overview to kind of catch people up to speed, or if you need a refresher or something like that. So Fuel is our dynamic ad program that creates ads to account for every vehicle that a dealer has in stock. So it syncs directly to a dealer's inventory. And what we do is we can pull in variables from the inventory like year, make, model, trim, drivetrain, color, body style, a lot of great things. And we can pull these variables in and put them into our text ads and make really great keyword lists as well. So if you were to kind of look into Fuel right now, you would see something like this. So you can see over here on the left-hand side, we have headline, description line 1, description line 2, and display URL. And those are the components that make up a text ad. So up here at the top in headline, we have year, make, model, trim, drivetrain. And then on the next line, we have year, make, model, trim, and so on. So the idea that we're trying to do here is put as much information and detail that we can about a car into the space. And if it doesn't fit within the character limitations, then it drops down and takes up the next line. So once you kind of pick the variables that you want to use in your text ads, the information that you want, you can then add in conditional logic. And this is where we can get really customized and really creative with these ads. So say, for example, you have a car that just arrived on your lot. It's been there less than 2 weeks. We could say in Fuel, display that it's just arrived if it's been there less than 15 days. Or you could also do it if it's like a Carfax one owner vehicle. You could say promote the fact that it's a one owner. So that's really great. Just know that whenever you buy or sell cars, Fuel automatically updates the ad. So it syncs, because it syncs with your inventory. Say you sell a used car, the ad will then be removed. And then same thing, if you gain a car, the ad will be created to account for it. So once you kind of get your variables set up, we set up the conditional logic. Then you get these really great text ads and keywords lists. So you can see here the keywords that are pulled in are more of the long tail keywords I talked about earlier. Fuel is a great program for making sure that you're targeting those people at the end of the buying cycle. And those are generated automatically through the program. Over here on the left, we have the Subaru Legacy. And this is when you only have one of a certain used model in stock. So it'll promote really specific details. Like you can see it's a one owner, it's a sedan, all-wheel drive, and then it also displays the price. And if people were to click on that, it would send you to the details page of that vehicle. As opposed to if you have multiple of a used model in stock, like we do here with the Malibus, you can see that there's 7 available, and then it gives the starting price, and then that would send people to the results page of your website. And then the cell phone just kind of shows you how one of our ads stacks up in comparison to the competition. You can see that ours has a lot more detail. It's more targeted, more relevant, more engaging. And that's Fuel. Crash course.
Crash course.
Crash course. So the next feature I'm going to talk about in AdWords is ad extensions. So with text ads, you have really limited space. You only have 2 description lines, each are 35 characters. You don't really have a whole lot to work with. But ad extensions are a way that you can provide additional information. So kind of think of it like free real estate. And it also allows you to stand out in comparison to competitors who might not be taking advantage of them. So the first one we have is the call extension. I'll run through these pretty quickly. And this just displays your phone number. If this were on a mobile device, it would be a little button that says call. So someone could technically call your dealership through the cell phone through our text ad. This one is the location extension. So it displays your address, but it actually syncs to your Google My Business page. So whenever someone clicks on that link, it then redirects them to Google Maps. And then it can show you right how to get to your dealership. So it's pretty cool. Then there's site links. They're exactly what they look like. They're basically hyperlinks that take people to specific pages within your website. And then these are Callout extensions, and these are the most recent that have been added. They're pretty new, so they're the newest to the ad extension family. And basically, this just gives you more text to say what's unique about your dealership or why people should buy from you. So you can see here, our friends at Walla Walla, they have a lot of great unique selling points that we maybe couldn't have fit into our text ad originally, but callouts give us the opportunity to cram more information in.
Unique selling points, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just talked about that last week. So, that's also one of the great ways to see how all of these aspects and all of these definitions work together to give dealers the most comprehensive package possible. You use all these things to make sure that your message and, your money is going to work for you in all the best ways possible. So, USPs, woo, big search, woo.
Yeah. So now dynamic remarketing, which is kind of the hot thing in AdWords right now. Dynamic remarketing is a new product that was released late last year by Google. So it was around December. I think they finally got it working around January, February. And what it does is it takes remarketing one step further. So it syncs directly with your inventory feed to display ads that are tailored to each customer. So if a customer is looking at a specific vehicle on your website, the remarketing banner they get will feature the exact image that they were looking at. So you can see here, I was on Tom Gill Chevrolet's website, then I was later on weather.com, and you can see I was looking at Chevy Traverses, and those were the exact models I was looking at, and then it also displays the price, which is cool. Dynamic remarketing, surprise, it's not just for remarketing, we can also do it in display. So regular display targeting. So even if someone hasn't been on your website, they can still technically get these ads. And we do this through our contextual keyword targeting that I talked about earlier. So say I'm on Edmunds and I'm looking at escapes, I could get an ad that shows the exact escapes that you have in stock. And again, that's done through the contextual keyword targeting. Something else that's kind of cool that I want to point out about these ads is that there's an interactive feature that's typically not available on traditional banners. So what people can do is they can scroll through and look at other suggested models, like models that are related to the ones that they were looking at. And then if they were to click on this, one of the vehicles, it would send them to either the details page or the results page, depending on what we program it to do.
So what results have you noticed from this dynamic remarketing / display?
Yeah, results. So we've tested it out with quite a few now, and we've seen overall a decent increase in click-through rate, and then bounce rate has gone down, averaging 15%, which is huge. So the traffic that's coming in is really quality. They're spending more time on the site, so that's really great to see from dynamic marketing.
Okay, and this must cost like a couple extra hundred, 500 a month.
The price of it. So it doesn't, we don't charge anything to set it up for you guys, if that's what you're getting at. Yeah. So no, we don't charge anything for setup or anything like that. It just comes with being one of our clients. You do get charged whatever AdWords charges you. So whenever people actually click on the ad, but no, there's no like additional setup fee or anything like that.
Awesome.
Yep. Okay. Home stretch. So once you set up your AdWords account, you use those targeting methods, take advantage of those features I just went over. You really don't want to put yourself on autopilot. You want to maintain your account and make sure you're always optimizing it so it continually improves. One of my favorite things to do is a search term report. So search term reports show you what people were actually looking at when your ad was triggered, what they were actually searching for when your ad was triggered. So an example I like to use, we had a client who had been running their AdWords account through a different agency. And then once we gained access to their account and took it over, we went into a search term report to see what kind of traffic they were getting, how quality it was. And we saw a lot of times that they were getting clicked on for the term Barbie Jeep. Now, the dealership sold Jeeps, but they obviously don't sell Barbie Jeeps. So the problem is that they were wasting hundreds of dollars a month on a term Barbie Jeep. And then bounce rates were through the roof. You're just wasting a lot of money that could be going to more qualified people or just qualified people in general. So had they been running a search term report, I feel like they could have caught that a lot sooner. So what they do, they basically just keep your accounts focused. They give you the opportunity to add or exclude keywords. So say you see some great keyword ideas that maybe you missed the first time, you can add them to your keyword list. Or in the case of Barbie Jeep, you'd want to exclude the word Barbie so it would block your ad from showing. And then just overall, they ensure you get quality traffic to your site. And I actually wrote a blog about it about a month ago. So if you guys want to learn how to do them or get more information, check out the link on this page. So the last thing I would recommend doing as far as optimizing is A/B testing. This is something we do all the time across all of our accounts here at Launch. Just keep in mind, as far as ad copy, what you think might work best might not actually work best in reality, but really the only way to know that is to A/B test. So make sure you're just always running A/B testing so you're getting the best ad copy that you possibly can, and just taking advantage of the reporting data that AdWords offers.
All right. Thank you so much, Buff.
Thanks.
Let's see. Let me get, hold on one second. I'm looking for something. There we go. Okay, so do we have any questions so far? I don't see everything's, nothing's in to come through in the chat. Do we have any questions?
Hey, Shawnee, I actually have a question for you.
Oh, hello, Cassie. Yes, how can I help you?
Yeah, so I think you might have already said it, but I just want to reiterate. So how exactly do dynamic ads perform in comparison just to regular ads?
In Fuel?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Great
a good question.
So how do Fuel ads compare to just the generic text ads? Well, what we try and do in Fuel is we try and put in as much detail about the car that we can. So whether it be the price, the color, body style, things like that, so that there's really no surprises by the time someone clicks through to your website. So say, for instance, once they get to the website, it's not the right color and it's not the right price. They're just going to bounce right back out, and then that's the end of it. So at least in Fuel, people kind of know what they're getting into before they click through to your website, so you're not wasting money on people that aren't really going to be interested in the ad.
Yeah.
Oh, makes sense. Thanks, guys.
All right.
No problem.
All right. Any other questions? While you're thinking about those questions, let's. I want to remind you guys, go to the survey, check it out. Tell us what you would like to see, what you would like to hear, what you'd like to know more about. Any topics you've heard that you really want to, get your hands onto, and let us know. Also, if you're interested in, ramping up your PPC dollars and you're looking into that, then please shoot an email to sales@dealerinspire.com, and we'll look into getting that hooked up for you. Our next webinar is going to be with Danny Dover. You all know him as the SEO guru, and he's written a book on SEO. He's one of our SEO guru employees. Like, he's just he knows his stuff. So he's going to be here next week, and check out our past webinars at dealerinspire.com/DI how do I. I will be sending out the link to Buffy's blog. I'll shoot an email out to you guys for that and any other information. So you'll be able to read that and kind of look up more about it. Send you the link to the past webinars as well, so you can check out more about Fuel and USPs in case you missed it. And, again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Buffy. And I am Shawnee, the trainer of technologies for innovative dealers such as yourself. See you next week.